In this video, I'm gonna actually talk a little bit about the job search from the perspective of first principle thinking. I was actually thinking like the process, like what it gets to get the job offer. And I have actually came up to two problems in the process. Once you actually solve this, you will be able to actually get a job. So basically, there are two problems you have to solve in order to actually get your job offer. The first one is traffic, and second one is conversion. And then the conversion also has like the one step further, which is conversion. Basically getting the job interviews is the first step, conversion, and getting the job offers after you got the job interview, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna actually start with the traffic, which is one of the crucial part of the process, right? Which is, what is traffic? Basically, traffic is letting people know about what you do. And if you look at the process, what are the ways you can actually get traffic? And if you're applying for the jobs, which is the worst way of actually getting traffic, because so as a whole, the traffic is letting people know about what you do, right? And if you're applying to 100 job positions every single month, and after the ATS, after the filtering and all, you're probably, let's say, showing your CV to the 10 HRs, right? So every 100 applications you send equals 10 people know about what you do. And if you think about it, amount of time you spent on making the CV, finding the right job position and applying, and just basically going through all the forms, right? You have to fill out and just click the submit button. It takes time, and you have to actually do it 100 times in a row. For what? Getting only 10 people know about what you do. And there are other ways of actually getting traffic too. For example, LinkedIn outreach, LinkedIn optimization, and LinkedIn content creation. And I want to actually touch all three rest, let's say, way of getting the traffic, one after another. And let's talk about the LinkedIn optimization first. For example, if you optimize your LinkedIn profile once, probably it takes, let's say, 1 to 2 hours. But the cool thing about LinkedIn optimization is it's gonna actually get you people to look at your profile, which is quote unquote traffic, when you're sleeping. And then you have to do it only once. And if you actually optimize your LinkedIn profile in a better way, like when it's done well, it actually it's kind of lead magnet, because the HRs, they use the tool called LinkedIn Recruiter, right? And if you have the right keywords and your LinkedIn is well optimized, you will get job interviews on autopilot. And your LinkedIn optimization is alone basically solves the traffic and then the conversion, first step of the conversion problem, which is getting people know about you and basically converting the people to the job interviews, if that makes sense. And the third one is the outreach. Basically, you actively searching for some group of people, let's say demographics, it might be HRs, it might be hiring managers, and then your potential peers, let's say co-workers in the company that you wanted to work at the roles you are targeting to. The thing is, not a lot of people, they have the stomach to actually process the rejection or just process just getting ignored. For example, if you don't know how to use copywriting, or if you don't have the right scripts or the right basically system when it comes to reaching out to people, no matter how many reach outs you send, it might be email, it might be LinkedIn, in-mail, or just the directly reaching out on LinkedIn, you're not gonna get nothing. And there are some things you have to do that actually helps you to get more response rate. And if we run the numbers when it comes to reaching out to people, if you reach out to, let's say, 100 people, probably 50% of them, they actually see you. At least they see you, what you do. And you can actually let them know about what you do. As compared to making the CV and applying to 100 job positions every single month, the amount of amount of like the effort you put in into two different, let's say, way of getting the traffic is uncomparable. Because writing a copy is a lot easier than making a CV and just going through the submission process when you're applying for the jobs. And then you're actually getting 10 people to see what you do. But if you reach out to 100 people, 50 of them at least they're gonna know what you do. That's the second way of getting traffic. Sorry, the third way of getting traffic. So we covered the CV, we covered the optimization, which is LinkedIn, which solves two problems in one shot. And then we covered the third one, which is the reaching out to people, like the HRs and all. And the final one is content creation. I can't stress enough how important content creation is when it's done well. Okay, when it comes to the content creation, most internationals here in Poland, they think they have to write some sort of motivational quote or just dump everything into AI and just get something out of it and just post it with the cringe, like the AI generated image, so on and so forth. But most of the time, people don't know how to write proper copy that gets the right eyeballs from the right people, right? That actually converts to job opportunities. So you have to have the content pillars. The content pillars is basically the topics that you talk about. For example, let's say you might have 4 content pillars, one of them about your job, like the job search journey, one of them about your expertise, one of them about your achievements in your industry, and one of them about your goals. Let's say the 4 different content pillars. And each and every content pillar, basically 2 of them shows or represents your expertise and 2 of them shows your personality. By doing actually just writing the, let's say the content, let's say if you spend 30 minutes for the content for the next 30 days, right? And write one piece of content every single day, hypothetically speaking, you get, let's say 10,000 impressions, right? 10,000 impressions. And out of 10,000 impressions, if you get 100 people to see you, like the HRs or the hiring managers, or potentially someone who can actually refer you, as compared to what you do when it comes to actually making your CV and applying, that is the disproportional, the result when it comes to effort per activity. In order for you to let 100 people know about your expertise or tell them what you do, right? Through CV, you have to send 1,000 CVs or you have to send 1,000 applications per month. So amount of, as I said, the effort that you put on the CV and applying, which is the traditional path, which is gone already. And you cannot physically apply to 1,000 job positions every single month, which is impossible. And then compared to your effort, and then the result is disproportionately mental. It's not good. But if you, as I said, leverage 3 more the ways of getting traffic, you're more likely to get more traffic, which is at least you will be able to let them know about what you do, which is the first problem you have to solve. And all the effort you do for your job search should be how I'm gonna get as much eyeballs as humanly possible from the right people. If you are actually applying for jobs just through CV and your only way of getting traffic through CV, which I'm sure you are doing the same thing and you're not doing anything else, that's the bigger problem. And that's why no one actually know you. You don't have the CV problem. You have the invisibility problem. And that's the biggest problem you have to solve before you make your CV. And before you actually blame the job market or before you actually blame the fact that you don't speak in Polish or you don't speak in English well. Okay? So let's talk about the second part of the problem, which is conversion problem. When it comes to conversion, basically when you apply for the jobs through CV, you can actually only use the CV as a conversion point. Let's say you will actually put the HR's eyeball to your CV. so they can actually call you or just send email, so like the interview invitation, if that makes sense. But on LinkedIn, it's like, if you think about it, you have to look at the LinkedIn profile you have as a landing page. For example, I have a landing page which is website, and almost all of the companies, they have the landing page, let's say like the product based or service based, like they actually demonstrate what they do. And your LinkedIn profile is your landing page. You actually tell or just represent what you do. And then like cool thing about it, which is free. Once you actually set up your LinkedIn properly and just use it as a landing page, you will actually attract a lot of job opportunities. And that's the most important thing. So imagine you are actually getting, let's say 500 to 1,000 HRs, or like the people potentially will hire you directly to your LinkedIn profile. If you think about it, just convert like zero, like the 1%, literally 1. And every month you will be able to actually get 10 to 20 job interviews per month, just using your LinkedIn and just demonstrating your stuff properly, and then creating content. And when it comes to the second part of the conversion problem we have to solve, is how we're gonna turn these job interviews into job offers. And this is where the interview preparation and then data comes in. If you have enough data about the company, about the role, and about the type of questions and interview structure, how the specific company structure their interview processes for the specific type of roles. Basically, you just show up and just get the job interview. And oftentimes, people don't have data. We've been actually getting job interviews on a weekly basis, like accumulated with my clients, right? Over the course of 2 years, we have landed probably 1,200 job interviews at this point. And I actually documented each and every single of the process, like which company, how they structure their interview processes, and what are the questions are. We have the data. And I know how the Citibank, for the KYC role, structures their interview process. I know the JP Morgan, I know the Goldman Sachs, I know the P&G, I know the Nelson IQ. Like, I've got the data, right? And if you don't have enough data before you jump on a call with the hiring manager or the interview, most probably you will actually fail, because it's not your problem, but you don't know how to prepare properly. And that's the second part of the conversion, which is how you're going to actually prepare for the assessment, how you're going to prepare for the job interview, and based off the data, and then someone who can actually call your name out when you're actually making a mistake, or just like giving you some sort of feedback, so you can actually iterate your answers and be able to position yourself in the job interview. So that actually leads you getting the better job offer, if that makes sense. And then the last thing is like how you can actually take all the money on the table, which is allocated for specific role. What I mean by that, for example, you might be working in the company, and then the person next to you might be making more money than you. Why? Because he had the data when he was actually negotiating the salary. Like sometimes like the discrepancy is like crazy, which is like 3,000 zlotys or like just 4,000 zlotys. Someone who is doing the exact role, let's say making 8,000 zlotys, and someone is actually making 12,000 zlotys. And they actually clock in and clock out the same time. Their output is the same, their input is the same. But why the heck the person A makes more money than person B? Just because they have the data. And we have the data when it comes to the budget allocation, specifically for each and every company, like all the favorite companies you have. So if you actually tackle these three problems, basically it's two, which is like the traffic, how you can maximize your traffic from the right type of eyeballs. And then the second thing is how you can actually get the traffic and convert them to the job interviews. And second part of the conversion step is basically how I'm gonna get the job interviews, which is scheduled already, and just turn them to the job opportunities, which is like the job offers, at the highest salary possible. If you actually solve these three problems, you will be able to actually get unlimited job interviews, job offers at the highest salary level. And that's what's been actually working, and that's what we have actually implementing for our clients' case. So they are actually making the most money possible, the best job opportunities they can actually capture in the job market right now. So once again, you don't have the CV problem, you have invisibility problem. Or in other words, I would say you don't fail because you are unqualified, but you fail because you are invisible. No one actually hires somebody who can't see. So the number one problem you have to solve, traffic, and turn them into job interviews, and then the job interviews to job opportunities. And that's what we do. Basically, we have two different offers. We have done with you. We're going to give you the system. We're going to actually show you the roadmap. We're going to give you the roadmap, and we're going to actually coach you at each and every step of the process. It might be CV, it might be cover letter, it might be LinkedIn, it might be content, it might be outreach, and we're going to give you the scripts and all, and you are the executor. But if you don't have more than, let's say, 2 hours every single day to get a job, we have another offer which is done for you. And instead of you being the executor, I'm going to actually bring my team, and we're going to actually execute all of the system that I have showed you on another level, or the highest level possible. So we're going to take your LinkedIn, and you're just going to sit on the couch and wait for the job interviews. Once we start to get job interviews, my team and I, we're going to prepare you personally with the proper data, with the proper mock interview, with the proper salary negotiation tactics, so you're going to get the most money on the table. If you're still interested, I'm super happy to talk to you, and that's the exact system that we have been using. And if you're still thinking that another 100 application or another 200 applications is going to help you to get a job, I want you to think twice.